as you know, DJI just released the Mavic Air. They told us about it last Tuesday. A week and a day later, I've got it for you. Now we're going to tell you a little bit about it and how it compares to these two drones. I've got the Spark and I've got the Mavic Pro. And guess what? I've got the Mavic Air right here in my pocket. Look at how small this thing is. Just kidding. It's not really the Mavic Air, but I do really have the Mavic Air. It's right here. Haven't opened it up. I'm going to do that for you. We're going to talk about what it is. Like I said before, how it compares to these two guys. And then we'll tell you a little bit about how we're going to test it in the test that we will do. Okay, so Chris and I, we're going to unbox this thing. Actually, he's the expert unboxer, so he's going to do the opening of the box, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about it and how it compares to these drones. Like I said, we've got a Spark over here. It's the smaller drone, and then I've got the Mavic Pro right here. Right off the bat, you know, before we even open that thing, let's talk price, okay? Mavic Air, $799, right? $800. This, $399, $400. This is half the price. So before people say, "Hey, it's you know, just another Spark," well, it's not. Well, we'll take a look at that. Now, this is actually the Fly More package, so you know, keep that in mind as we kind of go through what's actually in there. I think it's actually going to compare closer to the Mavic Pro than it will to the Spark. We can talk a little bit more about the specs, but let's open this thing and let's take a look. Alright, so size-wise, we've got the Spark, we've got the Mavic Pro. Obviously, the Spark is smaller. The Air is going to fit somewhere in between, just like it does price point as well. What do we got there?
All right, let's take a look. So we got the miniature pouch here. Let's see what's in there.
I think it's the drone.
I think so. I just want to see how the pouch compared to the Spark. Pouch is smarter, smaller.
Actually, it is nicer too. Aha! There it is.
Yeah.
All right. So it is, you know, certainly smaller in terms of folded size than the Spark. We take a look at the Mavic Pro. You know, it actually looks. Let's fold this thing back up backwards here, so that we can kind of compare folded size, so you guys can see what that really looks like. All right. Stupid folding props in the way. All right, so it is not all that different in terms of size, except really it is a lot thinner, right? That's where the big difference is. It is a little bit shorter, definitely a little bit thinner. It is lighter for sure, heavier than the Spark though. Let's open it up.
Talk about what else we got in this box here.
All right, what do we got in the box?
We got two sets of props. They are looking a lot more like the Spark props in terms of they've got the square ends to them, but they are one piece, no folding deal, saves some cost, and you don't really need them to fold anymore the way these arms are built. So we come with a set of props, and we got two extra sets. I don't know if they're planning on us crashing this thing or what. Hopefully not. We've got our Phantom props. We've never actually replaced a set of DJI props except for maybe our first Phantom 3 Standard, which might have had a few rollover incidents. Got our various cables in this box as well, and some kind of charging adapter here. Looks like USB to battery. So we got all that. That fits in here. In the box here, we got some other charging widget. Here we go. Finally, a couple extra batteries that we ordered with the Fly More package. So these guys significantly larger than the Spark battery, obviously. and significantly smaller than the battery that comes on the Mavic Pro.
Yep.
I took it back down.
Alright, so we got it unfolded. Size comparison. Right, you can have a look for yourself. It's pretty easy to unfold, actually. The props did not get in the way like they often do when I'm working with the Mavic Pro here.
So this case is pretty nice. You can fit 3 batteries in there. The charger, I think it's basically meant to be an accessory case for the remote and the charger and everything. Although I'm sure there's different ways you can put this together, and just put right on top here, you could put the Mavic Air and go that route as well. So what else? We got one more box in here, some more goodies. What are we missing? I don't even know.
We'll find out.
Prop guards, of course.
Ah, because we fly with prop guards a lot.
No, not so much. Prop guards and multiple instruction manuals. So nothing too exciting there.
Not that there's anything wrong with flying with prop guards. Actually, if you're flying indoors, that actually is probably a good idea. Let's talk a little bit about, what makes these, right? What makes them all different, right? So we've got the Spark. We talked price. Obviously, the Spark is the most inexpensive of them. People are saying, well, this is more, it's Spark 2. Well, you know what? It really isn't. If you kind of look closer at the specs, it is definitely more Mavic than it is Spark. What should we talk about?
I mean, spec-wise, I think it's more Mavic. Size-wise, it's definitely more Spark.
Yeah.
Should we do the famous pocket test real quick? I'm also curious to see, yeah, you can fold up these arms. Actually, I didn't know the rear arms actually do flip under. I didn't realize that. I thought they flipped forward. And it looks like you can do this in the wrong order, for sure. So you want to go front first.
Just like the original.
Just like the original, okay.
And actually, I have the landing gear. You got to fold that in too.
That landing gear is just in the front.
Correct. And that's where the antenna is on the DJI Mavic Air. Now, they say that helps give them better range. Just a quick range talk. With the remote, the Spark's going to give you about 2,000 meters. The Air claims 4,000 meters, and then the Mavic Pro 7,000 meters. Now, really, is all that important? Are you really going to fly that far away? Probably not. You're probably not going to get that far in a battery. Why that actually matters is signal strength. The stronger the signal, the better, right? So maybe you don't need to get a couple of miles away, but it certainly is important to have good signal strength, especially if you're flying and there are trees in the way or buildings or whatnot. You want better signal strength. So, are you going to get it out 4,000 meters? Probably not, but, maybe you're 1,000 meters away and you got some trees in the way. It's better to have better signal strength. So I would say 4,000 meters is pretty good, definitely better than the Spark. Now, we've never really had too many issues in terms of signal strength, maybe on original Phantom 3. Yeah, you're not getting this thing in your pocket, no way. And certainly not with the arms, you're not this one either. But
so I can get this guy in my front pocket, but I don't think I'd really want to walk around like that.
No, maybe if you had a fancy vest like they do at DJI. But, in terms of signal strength, this is going to be pretty good. Hopefully you have the signal strength that you need. They say it's Wi-Fi. Listen, it's not typical Wi-Fi. I'm not getting good Wi-Fi signal sometimes on my phone from my basement. We're not talking typical routers here. Same thing, we're not talking that's typical either, right? So 4,000 meters, a lot of people are like, oh, it's Wi-Fi, it can't be good, right? It's not the same Wi-Fi in terms of strength that you got at your house. So don't think that. Now, we have had some issues with the Spark in really crowded, noisy neighborhoods, but really it's pretty good. I expect this one to be even better. So we will test that for sure and let you know more about that. What else do we want to know? Speed?
I mean, yeah, at first I'm just studying the size. I wasn't listening. But basically, look at the specs. It's the width of the Mavic, like the thickness of the Spark, and obviously a little bit shorter as well. But it's really that thinness that's really impressive there. That's what lets you get in your pocket if you're so motivated. You mentioned speed. So, yeah, allegedly another mile an hour faster in sport mode.
2 mile an hour faster.
Nobody's going to notice that. Nobody cares. In my opinion, it's just a spec that looks nice. This guy's pretty quick on paper as well. However, if you've ever...
31 miles an hour. But
if you ever flown this thing in normal mode, it's basically like tripod mode on the Mavic Pro.
It is a turtle, slow and steady.
It's slow and steady, and the reason is the limited gimbal range. It doesn't have enough lookup angle here, and doesn't have much roll angle as well. So they've really toned this thing back. Now we've heard some early testing on the Mavic Air.
It does look to have a lot more travel, on the inside. Yeah, we're not bad there. That's definitely more than the.
Oh yeah.
More than the Spark.
So it's got more. Maybe I mean this thing, the front lens in terms of roll on the Mavic Pro is huge. Ton of roll capability there. So it's not going to be as fast in all normal filming scenarios as the Mavic Pro Platinum. However, in terms of forward flight, reverse flight, you're talking reports around 20 miles an hour, just like the Mavic in terms of when you're doing your normal filming.
So that's pretty similar,
I mean,
right?
that's
so
fast.
Speed-wise, technically, this is faster, but in terms of actual what you're going to be doing with it, they're going to be about the same. So, you know, they beat the Spark, but in terms of usability, they're about the same. Now, flight time, the Spark checks in 15-16 minutes, and we go to the Mavic Air 2021, and then the Pro is going to give you 27 to 30, right? The Platinum, they quote you at 30 with the fancy props, which you can put on your regular Pro, which is what we've done here, but they also have different ESCs, so that helps as well. But either way, you know, depending on the conditions you fly, you're probably not going to hit any of those numbers. The thing that matters is this one does give you more flight time, for sure, right?
So we're going to do a couple things. From the speed standpoint, we're going to just race these things in normal flight mode. Not even going to bother in sport mode. I believe DJI specs, they don't have specs for normal flight mode. So we're going to show you side by side how fast they actually are in their normal video recording modes, which is where they're supposed to be nice and stable. And that's going to be one thing. Second one, how loud are they? People are saying this little guy is actually louder than the Mavic. Has something to do with its props spinning faster because they're shorter. Not sure I believe it. Now they don't have the nice swept back props yet, these nice sharp tips.
Yeah, they probably will, right? I mean, it would
so.
make sense. I mean, they engineered these things to be more efficient and quieter. Why did they not put it on the Air? Maybe they come out in a couple of months and it costs you another $10. You upgrade your drone.
Yeah, it'll be a nice little upgrade, that they come in later with. Maybe folding props, so if you're into folding props, maybe that's your thing. Personally, I think they kind of make it harder to get in and out. And what's interesting here, if you look at what I just did, I just took the folding prop off the Spark and put it on the Mavic Air, which is kind of interesting.
I wonder if we can get these on the...
So they designed it with the same, it's not the same motor size exactly, but the same attachment for the prop. Mm-hmm. And they are a little bit smaller. You're not going to get the same flight time exactly, but if you're dead set on folding props, you can pick up some Spark props.
Yeah. Probably lose some efficiency for sure.
Yeah, we're not going to be doing that. I personally find the folding props to be kind of annoying, flipping all over the place when you're trying to package up your Mavic Pro. What else we got?
We're going to do some camera testing. Obviously, that's the most important thing. So we're going to take some pictures of our test target, which you see here. Chris can explain some of those, why it's set up like it is. That's really so we can test things in different light levels of lighting.
Yeah. Right? So this target here, it's got really good contrast. We can tell how sharp these pictures really are, and nice lighting. Got all these lights in here. Then we're going to dim the lights. We're going to measure, and we're going to test each drone's camera and compare them side by side. You're going to see some of the noise levels go up. What do we expect to see? Well, this guy, they all have the same size sensors and the same number of megapixels. They talk about some upgrades here on the Mavic Air, but it does have a higher F number. What that means: smaller aperture, less light coming in, and is it going to perform as well low light? We're going to be the first to test that. Hopefully we sneak in ahead of DP review on that.
So check back in. So subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, so that when these tests come out, you'll be the first to see them.
Of course, we're going to do some side-by-side flying, get them all up in the air, and just film the exact same thing.
Yeah, we'll do it outdoors as well, so you can see how it performs in real-world situations.
So we got speed, we got sound. Did we talk about thrust testing yet?
We did not. So that is something that we do with all of our drones. We've got this awesome apparatus. We put it on there, and we actually measure the thrust that they produce. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that video, check that out. But yeah, we'll tell you exactly how many the thrust numbers that they create.
Yeah. So what's important is how much thrust it generates. That kind of gives you a sense of payload. Not that you're probably going to be strapping too many things on your drones. Hasn't stopped us, of course.
Maybe a 360 camera or two. That's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen that, you'll want to check that out too. But we'll probably do that. We've done that to even this little guy, the Spark. So I'm guessing the Mavic Air can certainly handle our LG 360 camera.
So tell you that, but more importantly, you do thrust to weight ratio. So that's how much more it can pull than it weighs. That gives you a sense of how maneuverable it is, which makes a big difference in stability in air, in windy conditions, and just again how maneuverable it is. So we're going to test a bunch of things. We're going to throw them in a bunch of different videos in the next several days. So come back in on the channel and check that out.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Other things that we haven't mentioned, the obstacle avoidance. I think that's the big difference on this guy here, right, from the Mavic Pro, the one big upgrade, right? We do have better frame rates in actually 1080p on this guy as well. But not only does it have front obstacle avoidance, as does the Mavic Pro, it does also have some rear sensors. Not only that, when this senses something, it's not just going to stop, it's actually going to go around it. So this is a smarter obstacle avoidance system on the new Mavic Air. So that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah,
we'll definitely test that out too. So if you want to see that in action, we'll show you that in action as well.
We've got a friend who does a ton of real estate stuff, and he says, I don't even know why they put sensors on the front. I'm always flying backwards. So huge thing, putting the backwards sensors on there. It's definitely a trend at DJI. More sensing with every new release. The Phantom 4 Pro, they added 3 directions with one drone from the Phantom 4 to Phantom 4 Pro. So we just see that as a trend with DJI drones. Just totally impressive machines.
Absolutely. So yeah, so make sure you check back in and subscribe to our channel. We'll show you all about how this thing flies and compares to these. But also later on, we've got some information about what DJI has cooking, right? It's not just, they're not stopping with the Mavic Air here. They've got, I think, at least 3 other drones kind of in the works, and we'll tell you about those as well.
I mean, just look at their rate of innovation. I mean, this is a completely different lineup than we had a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah.
So we know they're working on at least 3 drones.
Yeah, and that doesn't even count that doesn't even count the Tello, which they've already released, which technically is Rise, right? But we know who owns that company. Anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Let's hey, we got some testing to do, right? Let's go fly this thing. Yeah,
let's do it.